All right, something has to give in Chicago. When you wake up after watching Tyler Huntley pick apart your secondary like he's prime Joe Montana, you know the problems run deeper than just a bad day at the office. The Bears might be sitting at Quattro Vittorias y Tres Derrotas, and on paper, that looks respectable. But let's be honest, if they keep trotting out the same depleted cornerback group, things are going to spiral fast. The conversation that needs to be happening at Hallis Hall isn't just about patching holes anymore. It's about going out and making a move. A real one. It's time the Bears trade for a cornerback. When you're down Cinco Jogadores, K, Fazium Part, Duolinko principle, you're not just patching up injuries. You're trying to rebuild your entire secondary on the fly. Jalen Johnson? We don't even know if he's coming back this season. And if he does, it's looking like December at best. Kyler Gordon? Still out for at least May's Trace Jogos. Tariq Stevenson? He might be back soon, but he's banged up, and that's not the kind of stability you can count on. Terrell Smith is already done for the year. And Zay Frazier, a rookie you hope could at least hold down a backup role, is gone too due to personal matters. It's like every week the Bears are playing whack-a-mole with injuries in the secondary. So what happens? You end up starting a trio that, let's be real, wouldn't be starting anywhere else in the league. Nan Wright, who's scrappy but clearly a career backup. Jalen Jones, who hadn't played a snap in the secondary all year. And Nick McLeod, who's trying his best but isn't even close to being a starting caliber corner in the NFL. That's the unit that faced the Ravens, and that's why Huntley went 17 for 22, looking completely comfortable the entire game. Todd Monken had guys running wide open the whole afternoon. You can't keep rolling with this group if you're serious about staying in the playoff hunt. So here's the real question the Bears have to answer. Are you trying to be competitive this season? Because if you are, you can't sit on your hands and hope the injury bug goes away. You're about to face the Bengals. That means Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And even if Tariq Stevenson returns in time, you're still way too thin. This isn't just about depth. It's about having starting-level talent. So it's time to explore trade options, and fast. Let's start with a name that actually makes a lot of sense. Alani Taylor. This is a guy who brings versatility, something the Bears desperately need. He's in the final year of his rookie deal, so you're not tied to him long-term unless he earns it. He's played both nickel and outside corner. And more importantly, he spent Trace Anos in Dennis Allen's system in New Orleans, which means he won't need a crash course in learning a brand new scheme. If you traded for him today, he could realistically start on Sunday. And depending on Stevenson's availability, he could play outside or slide into the nickel spot. That's exactly the kind of plug-and-play flexibility that could stabilize the back end of this defense, even if just temporarily. Then there's Reek Woolen. Now, over a month ago, rumors popped up suggesting the Seahawks might be open to moving him. Whether that's still on the table, we don't know for sure. But what we do know is that ESPN reported the Seahawks don't view him as a long-term scheme fit under their current coaching staff. So if you're the Bears, that's the kind of situation you look to take advantage of. Now, Woolen hasn't played quite at the level he did during his rookie year, but the tools are all still there. He's long, he's athletic, he plays press man well. And while he's not the most physical tackler, he can definitely hold down the outside corner spot better than anyone currently filling in for Chicago. Ideally, he's a CB3 on a top-tier roster. But right now, on this injury-ravaged Bears team, he'd probably be your CB1 or CB2 the moment he steps on the field. And let's not ignore the obvious. These trades wouldn't break the bank. We're talking about guys in the final year of their rookie deals. They're rentals. Normally, you hesitate trading assets for short-term pieces. But this isn't a normal situation. If the Bears want to keep their season alive and not throw away the momentum of a 4-3 start, then bringing in a competent corner for a 6th or maybe even 7th-round pick might be the smartest move they can make. And let's be real. If you don't like the price, you still might get that pick back in a compensatory formula if the player walks in free agency. Roger McCreary is another name that deserves a look. Strictly a nickel corner, yes, but with Kyler Gordon out and no return date guaranteed, maybe that's a role you're willing to fill temporarily. McCreary is a scrappy player, willing to tackle, and he's played solid football for the Titans. Tennessee has already made it known. Just about everyone not named Jeffrey Simmons or Cam Ward is available. That means McCreary could be had. You're not trading for a Pro Bowler, but you're getting a guy who can immediately take snaps away from your practice squad corners. And at this point, that's a win. Now, if you're looking for someone with a little more positional flexibility, Rasul Douglas might be the better fit. Historically an outside guy, but he's taken reps in the slot before, and he's quietly been playing solid ball this year. The Dolphins picked him up late, and he's on a very affordable deal, just around Trace Milhouse-Douglas. So this isn't going to nuke your cap space. He's not a game changer anymore, but he's still sticky in coverage. He knows how to handle his responsibilities, and he gives you a level of veteran steadiness that this group is currently lacking. The only issue? Timing. The Dolphins are playing on a short week, and they may not want to move a contributor just days before game time. But once that passes, he's a name to watch closely. Cam Taylor-Britt from the Bengals is another intriguing option. But again, don't expect anything to happen before Sunday. There's just no way Cincinnati trades him and then lines up against him 3 days later. It's a long shot for this week, but after the game, that could change quickly. The Bengals have been shaking up their lineup, and Taylor-Britt has already been benched once this season. If they fall to Trace Vittoria's Cease Dorotas after this weekend, they may start looking ahead to next year, and that's when the Bears could swoop in. If none of these names work out, there's still a few free agents floating out there. Stephon Gilmore? We don't know what shape he's in, but if he's been keeping himself ready, why not bring him in for a workout? Asani Samuel Jr. is another name that's been quiet. He was supposed to have a medical check in mid-October after neck surgery, but no updates have surfaced. If he's healthy, he'd be a massive upgrade. James Bradbury? Probably past his prime, but again, better than what you're putting on the field right now. Bottom line, this is a crisis. And if the Bears don't act, they risk wasting a surprisingly solid start to the season. The defense is hanging on by a thread, and the thread is fraying fast. You're about to face some of the best receiving duos in the league, and if you don't bring in reinforcements, you're setting this team up to fail. You don't need to make a blockbuster move. You just need a guy who can line up, hold his own, and not get completely exposed. And right now, the Bears don't even have that. So now that we've laid out the situation, let's go even deeper into what this all means for the Bears moving forward. Because it's not just about filling gaps. It's about what kind of identity this team wants to have the rest of the season. Sitting at 4-3, you're in the mix. The NFC is top-heavy, but the wild card race is wide open. The Bears don't need to be perfect, but they do need to be aggressive. And if this front office still believes in what's been built so far, then they can't just sit around and wait for guys to get healthy. That's how seasons slip away. That's how locker rooms lose faith. You got to show your players that you believe in what they're doing, and the way to do that is by bringing in some real help, not just promoting guys from the practice squad and hoping for the best. Think about what it does to a young defense when they see Tyler Huntley completing over 75% of his passes, not because he's carving up complicated coverages, but because the guys covering receivers can't stay with them for more than 2 seconds. That kind of performance drains your defensive line. It changes the way you call games. You start playing scared. The blitz packages go away. The man coverage looks disappear. Everything becomes reactive, and that's when teams start imposing their will on you. That's what happened against Baltimore, and that's what could keep happening if the Bears don't make a change. And it's not like the schedule is doing them any favors. After the Bengals, you've got the Giants and the Steelers, two teams that, while inconsistent, still have playmakers at wide receiver. Then you're looking at Detroit twice, Minnesota again, and a rematch with the Packers. This isn't a forgiving stretch. Even average quarterbacks will light up this secondary if it continues to be held together by backups and emergency call-ups. So even if guys like Tariq Stevenson return, that's not enough. This defense has been running on fumes, and if you don't retool it now, it might be too late. There's also the bigger picture to consider. Jalen Johnson is in a contract year, and while it's still unclear whether he'll get extended or move on in free agency, the reality is that the Bears could be heading into next offseason with big questions at both outside cornerback spots. Kyler Gordon is a promising nickel, but he's already had a few injury setbacks. If you don't want to spend major capital on another cornerback next spring, this is your window to test out a guy who might stick around. Players like Alani Taylor or Roger McCreary, they're not just Band-Aids. They're young enough to be evaluated as future contributors, And trading for them now gives you the upper hand in re-signing them if they play well. That's why there's real value in targeting someone with upside. You might get a short-term fix and a long-term piece in one move. Even someone like Rick Woolen, who hasn't played up to his rookie year hype, still has the physical tools that most teams are desperate for. If Seattle's ready to move on because of scheme fit, then this is exactly the kind of opportunity the Bears should be jumping on. There's a real chance to buy low, get a motivated player looking to prove himself, and maybe strike gold. On the flip side, let's say the Bears do nothing. Let's say they decide to ride it out with what they've got. Best case scenario, they get one or two guys back from injury in the next few weeks, and they patch things together. But by then, the damage might already be done. If you drop the next 2 or 3 games, you're looking at a steep climb just to stay relevant. That's not even factoring in the toll it takes on your defense overall. When your corners can't hold up, your safeties start cheating their responsibilities. Your linebackers get caught out of position. Everything starts to break down. And all of a sudden, you go from a team that's been quietly solid on defense to one that can't get off the field on third down. That's the danger of waiting too long. It's also worth mentioning that Chicago's offense, while improved, isn't built to win shootouts every week. You're still relying heavily on the run game, still dealing with a young quarterback, still figuring out your identity on that side of the ball. So the defense can't afford to give up 30 points a game. This team has to win ugly sometimes. That means the defense has to be competent, and right now, the cornerback position is holding them back from even being that. There's no magic bullet here, no perfect option that's going to step in and completely transform the defense. But that's not the expectation. What the Bears need is a professional cornerback who can handle his assignments, tackle in space, and make a few plays on the ball. Someone who doesn't have to be coached every snap. Someone who's been in big games and won't panic the moment things break down. That's the level the Bears are missing right now. And if you can get that for a mid-round pick, there's really no downside. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing, and the rumor mill is in overdrive. Sources whisper that the Chicago Bears have struck a deal with superstar pass rusher TJ Watt, sending shockwaves through the league. If true, this would be one of the boldest moves in recent NFL history, instantly transforming a Bears defense that has long struggled to find its identity. Insiders hint that the deal, though not officially confirmed, could reshape the NFC North hierarchy. Watt, a 3-time Pro Bowler known for his relentless motor and game-changing presence on the field, has been linked to several teams this offseason. But the suggestion that he might land in Chicago has left fans and pundits alike in sheer disbelief. If this happens, it's a seismic shift, one source said on condition of anonymity. The Bears would go from being average at best to instantly one of the most feared defensive units in the league. Chicago's defensive woes have been well documented, with inconsistent pass rushes and coverage gaps, leaving fans frustrated for seasons. Watt's potential arrival signals not just a new era, but a statement. The Bears are no longer content to sit on the sidelines while rivals dominate. His ability to pressure the quarterback, disrupt defensive lines, and create turnovers could give the team a dramatic edge, particularly in high-stakes divisional matchups against the Packers and Vikings. While negotiations are reportedly in advanced stages, details remain murky. Sources suggest a lucrative, long-term deal is on the table, though exact terms are under wraps. Social media has already exploded with speculation, memes, and mock debates about how the Bears would deploy Watt in their schemes and which linebackers and defensive ends would benefit most from his presence. Of course, nothing is official yet, and the Bears front office has remained tight-lipped, fueling the rumor fire even further. But one thing is clear. If TJ Watt does indeed join Chicago, the NFL landscape will never look the same. Fans are holding their breath. Rivals are bracing for impact, and the countdown to what could be a historic defensive renaissance has begun. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.